Go ahead.
Yeah. I'd like to introduce my really good friend Pablo Romano, who is very active in the Lions organization since he was very young. I met Pablo a number of years ago, actually, at a Francis Lewis High School anniversary, the 50th anniversary. At the time, he worked for Borough President Helen Marshall. Presently, he works for Department of Transportation, and I think he's done some other things in between. But you know, this is one of the good guys, and I don't want to take time, but I'm looking forward to hear what you do, and he does a lot for the communities. So here's Pablo Romano.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank Tammy and everybody. And everybody from the Mid Queens Community Council for inviting me to speak today. Like Tammy said, my name is Pablo Romano. I am president of the Queens Centennial Lions Club. We are what we call within the Lions organization a regional club, which means we can do any type of community service throughout any part of Queens. And 2 years ago, I had the honor that International President Jitsuhiro Yamada of the International Association appointed me new club development consultant for the United States.
Wow.
So what I do is I travel throughout the United States, and I help communities that don't have Lions clubs develop a Lions club, and we do it in 5 days. And we need a minimum of 20 people to get a club going. Right now, this is my second year, and I am actually out of 28 consultants in the country, the number 2.
Wow.
The highest number of
That's
new
impressive.
clubs in the, and I've been actually sent to other countries and started clubs there too. Lions Clubs International is the world's largest service organization. We are a network of 1.4 million members in 210 countries, 47,000 chapters. We are a affiliate partner of the United Nations. We actually, for many people don't know this, we were invited by when the United Nations was being formed to San Francisco, our founder, to help write the UN Charter. So that's why every year Lions Clubs International has a international forum at the UN, and members from all over the world fly to New York, and we convene with the largest organizations. For example, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, you know who that is. World Health Organization, UNICEF, and other Special Olympics. I saw the Olympics. Actually, their president is a member of our organization because we have a Special Olympics Lions Club in Washington, D.C. So, we deal with a lot of organizations that do a lot of good throughout the world in their respective communities. One of the things I tell communities when I travel throughout the country is, why is it good to have a Lions Club in your neighborhood? Because 1, we're a large organization, so you're not alone. 2, we have a lot of financial support for local chapters. We give millions and millions of dollars in grants, and our grants are not like government grants that are 500 pages long. Our grants are 2 pages, 3 pages, and but we keep track of them, and they're much easier for us to give. Our grants are only eligible for local Lions Club. So if your community has no Lions Club, you're not eligible for a grant through Lions Clubs International Foundation. So that's why, I always encourage communities to develop their own clubs. The other benefit of having a Lions Club is that through us, any Lions Club is insured up to $2 million for anything you do. So any event you have, any fundraiser you have, you are insured through us. Let's say your local Lions Club has a legal issue. You have free lawyers at headquarters ready to assist your local chapter.
So is there a membership in the Lions Club? Is there a membership?
There is. Compared to other humanitarian organizations, I won't mention any because we're live, But many organizations that do humanitarian work, many of you may think you're donating. You donate 100,000, and you're only donating 50,000. Okay, Lions Clubs International is 100% of your donation goes to the cause.
Wow.
Okay, we do not take donation monies to pay for salaries. Who pays our salaries? At headquarters for the employees, over 300 employees, the membership that our members pay throughout the world. Membership in a local Lions Club is no less than $7, no more than $10 per month. Every chapter establishes their own dues, so that's why I say no less than 7, no more than 10 per month. So for example, in my club, it's $10 per month. And you come to the meeting every month, you bring your $10, you pay your dues, and bada bing bada boom. Very simple. There's a one-time entrance fee to become a member of the association, which is $35. That's a one-time fee you pay, and then you're just responsible for your club dues. And one of the philosophies we have is your club, your way. You know the needs of your community, so you will develop the projects that are most important to you as a chapter. To be a chapter, you need 20 people, and the bigger you are, the more you can do. So that's why I'm very proud to represent Lions. I used to be part of so many organizations until I discovered Lions. And the minute I discovered Lions, I resigned from everybody, and I just stick to Lions, because one of the things is you're part of an NGO that is very transparent, and wherever there's a need, it gets done, and the need, and you can see the results.
Give me an example.
I'm sorry?
An example.
So, all right, China. When a few years ago, we actually, that year, a New Yorker was international president. China got hit by an earthquake pretty badly. Lions were first responders in relieving when the earthquake hit China. We helped build schools. We helped build homes. We helped build an entire city.
Wow.
Which was in China during 2008. It goes back a few years now. During Sandy, Lions were first responders in New York. New York received over $500,000 for relief funding. The Rockaways was pretty badly hit. Lions were first responders there. We helped people with their homes. We helped businesses rebuild. We paid for a lot of cleaning, a lot of mold infestation that had hit a lot of the homes, especially, and food. We provided generators for electricity. And that totaled up to $500,000 that New York received, and every state in the East Coast received $500,000 in humanitarian money. Some states might have received more, but since I'm from New York, I don't know what Florida received, but the minimum that every state received, which we call multiple districts, because every state is a multiple district, and within the multiple district there's more districts. So for example, New York has 12 districts, and the 12 districts make up the multiple district, which is New York and Bermuda. And currently the gentleman who's going to be the new district governor for Queens and Brooklyn was the chair of that committee that led the Sandy efforts for New York. So right now he's in Chicago getting trained as what the duties of a district governor is. And for those of you that don't know, Queens and Brooklyn is actually the largest district, Lions district, in New York State. We have over 80 clubs throughout Queens and Brooklyn, over 3,000 members strong. And so pretty much whoever's a district governor for Brooklyn and Queens is a strong voice at our Council of Governors meeting every year, because the Council of Governors is made up of the 12 districts, and each district has a governor, and the governor oversees all the clubs in the jurisdiction. So Charlie McBride from Little Neck will oversee 80 clubs, and the presidents of those 80 clubs report to him, and so there is a structure so that transparency is kept, so that our bylaws are followed, so that nothing shady happens in these clubs. So if something wrong goes, the district governor can take action and correct the problems. So we are a great organization. Yeah.
When you have one of these humanitarian efforts, like say for example the Sandy, relief that you gave, are people who are not Lions able to donate to your relief effort?
Sure. Yeah.
So, because I'm just thinking, we all see on TV, after Sandy, after Katrina, and I'm just talking about disasters in our country, and then it's all over the world, really. You see Red Cross, Red Cross, Red Cross, Red Cross. But, and then we hear things like, well, so much of your money is not going directly to that relief effort. It's going for the, operating costs of the organization. But then, what does your organization do to get the word out there? Because as we're sitting there watching TV, and so many people are going, "Oh my God, it's horrible! I gotta call up now, or go on my computer now, and make this donation to the Red Cross." But it seems like it would be better off making donation to the Lions Club, but you're
They
not
get it
seeing
through
that.
their
It's not.
membership.
Yeah, it's like.
See, one of the things.
I remember you
One of
telling me
one of the
that,
problems
good
Lions
point.
have, okay, is that we are the world's best kept secret.
It seems that way. Yeah.
It is, and we every day we tackle that issue because our clubs throughout, mostly in the United States, in other countries around the world, it's very different.
Oh.
Because in other countries around the world, it's more an elite organization.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I'll give you an example. If you're joining the Lions in India, to join a Lions club, an entrance fee to join a Lions club is $100,000 US.
Oh my God.
In
It's
India,
very elite.
it's very
How would
elite.
anybody
It's
be
very,
able to
very
afford that
elite.
in India or the United
I'll put it
States
to you
or
this way:
anywhere?
to become a district governor in India, it's 10 times more because it's an elite organization.
Wow.
Okay, that's why currently, well, you're from India?
My roots are.
Your roots are. I'll be heading to Chicago to our 100th convention, and our incoming president, Dr. Naresh Agarwal, is from India. The incoming president, international president, and India right now is leading with the highest membership increase in the world. Believe it or not, Japan is leading in membership increase. How many members do you think the United States has?
I don't have a clue.
Over 400,000 only in a country of what? How many millions?
Oh, God.
Billions.
Billions.
So we are in this country the best kept secret, and that is why the association has grabbed on to its best members that know about membership extension and retention
Right.
and club development.
Sure.
Before I was discovered, I started a few clubs in Queens, and then they found me and they said, we need you to go and do this all over the country.
Wow.
And so this year I started one in Briarwood Kew Gardens. Now there's a Lions Club, and we have one now. Yesterday we chartered Mahopac in Westchester. Today Wyandanch, Whitley Heights, and Long Island. We started 4 new clubs in Dominican Republic. We started one in Suriname, one in Trinidad. What else? I had the pleasure of going to Beverly Hills, and we chartered a Lions Club in Beverly Hills. We chartered a few clubs in LA, and the 5th Pride Club was chartered in LA while I was there. So it's the 5th LGBT Lions Club in California, and since I became a consultant for Lions International, I've been an active voice in helping organize the LGBT community to develop more LGBT Lion clubs.
That's great.
So right now, New York has 2, California has 5, and we're in the process of forming one in Staten Island, LGBT. Next year, we're looking to start working in Brooklyn and in the Bronx to bring in LGBT clubs, and we've heard in other states throughout the country that they would like to do the same thing. There's a lot of need, and as an NGO, non-governmental organization, there's a lot of funding for so many things. Lions are known for eyesight, for hearing. You know, has anyone ever seen the boxes for eyeglasses recycling?
Yeah.
So Lions are known for that. But not only that, Lions are now working on diabetes, cancer. What else? We're working on youth education, community beautification. What else? Let me see. And a lot of these LGBT Lions clubs are focusing on LGBT related humanitarian needs. So, for example, both of our clubs here in New York tackle mostly issues on youth homelessness within the LGBT community, which is something very important in New York because we don't have enough beds. Because our teenagers come out to their parents and their parents kick them out of their homes, and in New York City there's not enough beds, and many times the kids from Westchester come into New York City and the ones from New York City have to go to Westchester and there's not enough. So we're working on a grant with a center in Westchester to see if we can provide a humanitarian grant through Lions, because now we have a Westchester Pride Lions Club, and funnel the grant through them because only a Lions Club can approve a grant. So the community center would need the support of the local Lions Club to submit the grant for them, and that's what we're working on now. And I'm very supportive because it's a great community, and there's a lot of need, and in many issues. California tackle more issues. New York has only 2 clubs and they tackle youth homelessness issues. California tackles youth homelessness issues, senior citizen issues within the LGBT communities, AIDS awareness. So they tackle more because they have more clubs spread through the state. So we're a very diverse organization and very welcoming of all people. And that's something I encourage and I tell everybody, because everybody has that 1917 mentality of what Lions used to be back in 1917. And
I
tell
don't
them,
even know what they were then.
you go to Connecticut and they tell you an old what do they call it? I think they say white man's drinking club.
I
Something
see,
like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember because I was in Connecticut a year ago when I chartered a club in an area there, and I would always tell people, no, that's back in 1917. We're in 2017. It's very different now.
Later.
But organizations change and develop, and now and if we weren't who we are, we would not have reached 100 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
By
And,
the way, I forgot to mention that I went this past weekend to the 100th anniversary luncheon for his Lions Club, the Queens Lions Club. It was
we did a
beautiful.
dinner, a luncheon.
I posted
basically.
that on the email that it was yours.
So I encourage all of you. You all represent different communities. Join a local Lions Club or form one in your own community.
Is there one in Fresh Meadows? Or
He keeps on saying Tammy, so
I've
I
actually,
know.
believe it or not, Tammy said to me at our luncheon, I want to become a Lion. And I said, no, you will not become a Lion in my club. The day you start one in Fresh Meadows, I will help you.
Okay.
And so I highly encourage it. It's very easy to do it. And you're joining a great family, because one of the beauties of Lions is wherever you go, if you're not the type of traveling abroad, and you like to travel within the country, you make a bunch of friends, and I'll give you an example. We have a youth program within Lions called the Leo Club. Who's heard of Key Club? I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
Key
sure.
Club. It's like Key Club, but we have Leo Club. And last year I was in a conference call with headquarters, and they were telling me we need to do more to engage our youth. And they said, what do I'm a former Leo. I'm product of our youth program. And I said, all right, give me a week. I'll brainstorm an idea of what we can do at the national level. So I said, you know what? Let's do a national conference for our Leo Club members. And it started as a USA Leo Leadership Forum, and out of nowhere I get calls from Canada telling me, you're leaving out our Canadian Leos. Okay, can you include them in this forum? All right, USA/Canada Leo. Then I get a call from our Caribbean islands that are English speaking, and they said, well, the kids in the Caribbean are now, the U.S. now has the Caribbean as part of its jurisdiction because we're broken down by constitutional areas. We have 7 constitutional areas that break down the world. And the Caribbean became part of the U.S. and Canada. So I said, all right, we'll include them too. Out of nowhere, I reached out to all my friends throughout the United States that are Lions. And I said, we're forming the USA Leo Leadership Foundation to organize this forum annually. I need donations from every Lions Club in your area, in your communities. Can you guess how much we raised in a month and a half?
50,000.
No, that's too much.
Oh, okay.
In a month.
I have no
in a
idea.
month,
In a
we
month.
raised 10,000.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
$10,000. We even had a lion from Corona donated $3,000.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Okay. So, and the
Cool.
forum is happening in New York, in Long Island, in Hop.
Oh, cool.
So we have the Hyatt Regency has fully been reserved, and we have international officers coming into New York because it's the first time in the United States that a national forum is happening for our youth program. So
Wow.
we're very proud that the
When
first.
is that?
That's going to be in August, the first week of August, and our guest speaker is going to be our incoming first Vice President Gudrun of Iceland, and she's actually going to be the first woman president the year after.
Oh, good.
So she's a big motivational, inspirational for our women member throughout the United States and throughout the world. So it's going to be a great forum. We have a lot of kids signing up, and it's funny, they send their applications and they send their passport pictures, and you see all these young faces, and you're like, these are future leaders, in their own states: Colorado, Arizona, California, Minnesota, Florida. Applications coming from everywhere. Suriname, we have a girl coming down from Suriname. So it's great. It's a great organization, and the beauty of this is, that the time you're putting in is being well invested, because I sat in a lot of boards just like all of you, and I never saw nothing happen. We wasted so much time speaking and arguing in this, and what gets done? Nothing. Here, at least, you have a structure. You join a Lions Club, they tell you, here's a manual. Follow the manual. It's been working for 100
Right.
years. Don't go straight.
Yeah.
The minute you divert, you're done. And I've seen clubs, the minute they divert, they're done. They start to break apart.
Yeah.
Because we have a structure, and it works, and I recommend it to everybody.
What if there's, say, a local Lions Club is formed? Where do they meet?
So you can.
what does it say in that manual that tells people where they should do that?
So one of the
Someone's
things,
living room,
as
I guess?
when I go into a community, it's my job as a consultant to find a place for you. So by the time I leave,
Okay.
you are already set with a location, and then you, as a group, you decide when and what time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So my job as a developer is to help you become a successful club.
Right.
And I leave you with all the tools, and I leave you with 2 experienced Lion members from 2 different
okay.
clubs that have gone through the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So their jobs is for 2 years to be at all your meetings
Wow.
and to be at all your fundraisers.
That's tremendous.
Okay, and
amount of
community
support.
projects. So they provide that, and then the Lions organization provides also leadership training to the members and the officers, because a successful club is not a club that has officers in the same position for 10,000
Right.
years.
Sure.
When you see something like that happen in your own organizations, then there's a problem. Okay, because you're not developing leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you're and excuse the language, the words, you age out and your organization fades away.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's something we tell all our members during convention. You need to always encourage younger members to come in, and don't be scared to let go. You have to let go, and because they will be the ones to follow your legacy. I always use a perfect example when clubs that are aging out invite me to speak to help them revamp, and would you believe that they all want to be strong and they want to get more members, but what is the problem? The minute let's say I have a president and I go to the president. If I get you 20 new members, I come out on a Saturday and I help you recruit members in your community, and I bring them all into a table, and I tell them we have to have elections. Are you willing to let go of the certain positions and let the new people run it? Oh, no, 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 no. And that's when the idea
That's the
of
problem.
revamping disappears. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I first started moving up the ranks in Lions, I had been president of my club for 3 years. When I decided to become a Lion at the age of 19, I said, am I going to join an existing club or am I going to start a whole new one? At the age of 19, I said, no, I'm going to start a new one. Okay? Because what happens when you have someone young join an existing club that has older people? They don't let that young mind develop. So what happens? The young person fades away.
Yeah.
You know. So I started a new club, and immediately, you know, I had a little opposition, and because they were saying, "Oh, he's too young. He's not going to be able to run it." You know. All right. I got, I took out all my contacts because I was working within the Latino community, and I grabbed on to the brightest minds within each of the nationalities, the Colombians, the Argentinians, the Ecuadorians, and I grabbed the brightest minds. And I said to them, I need you to come to a meeting. I'm organizing a new Lions Club. And they all showed up, and I chartered a new club with 30 people. Not knowing I was going to be the charter president, because when you form a new club, you elect a charter president. Whoever comes after you is simply a president. I get the surprise they elect me charter president at the age of 19. And then my biggest fear in my head was, how the hell, at the age of 19, am I going to run someone who's 30, who's 40, who's 50, who's 60, who's 80? How am I going to tell them, no, you cannot do that? You know? And eventually it was hard. First 3 months of being president was hard because one of the pros and cons that I have is I read up on everything. And I bring a copy of everything. So the minute someone tries to question me, oh, the bylaw says this. Right here.
Yeah.
And what happens? Then, oh, no. You know, and eventually they got used to it. They knew that they could not be answered. And eventually they felt to love me. You know, then I got elected for a second year, a third year, and then they wanted a fourth year, and I said no. Because, one, we should not be doing more than 2 years. Because if I can't find a president in you all, then I am not doing my job right. And you know, we elected a president that came after me. And believe it or not, you know what the biggest satisfaction is as a Lion and as a leader is when you're able to not go to your meeting and you know your organization is running as if you were there.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay? So, till this day, I might not be there. I might not go there for a year, and they still have their meetings. People come without meeting announcements. They'll actually complain if a meeting doesn't happen. Okay? And that's what you want to see. Okay? When you have a well-structured group, you know, where everybody is aware of what's happening, where everybody knows that everybody will have a chance in being the president, you know. And as much as you may not want it, I always tell them, go for it. Try it at least for 1 year. You know, get it in, do it. You can do it. It's not hard. We're all going to help you because we're all a Lions family. You know, we're a family and we will support each other. So that's the beauty of Lions. You know, there's a lot of unity, you know, and I highly encourage all of you, you know, to I know you all have civics, but invite young people to your groups.
Oh,
You know.
but that's, you know, everything that you're talking about. I mean, we need a person like you or a Lion of some sort to help us because every civic has the same commonality in problems. We have dwindling membership. We don't have enough young people. We don't have enough people that reflect the diversity of our community. And I think I've spoken to every civic that I know, and we all share the same problem.
Right.
And we don't know what to do to change that. You know, lately at some of my meetings, there's been a couple of younger people, Chinese. I was so excited. I'm like, you're saying that you want to become active in our organization? Like, try not to gush, because I was so excited.
Right.
One was young. I'm like, yes, a young person. That's what we need. Because what's going to happen when we're all gone? What's going to happen? And we need young people, and we just need other people. But we send out 1,200 newsletters, and our membership right now is probably around 250, 300, and that's it. There are 1,200 households within our civic, borders, and that's all that are members now. And people, we feel like they don't care about their community, but I said, well, they also don't understand. They don't understand what we do and how important a civic is, or a co-op group or any sort of group like that, to the strength and stability of your community. And people, we don't know how to get that point across. So we need somebody like you to teach
Community
us.
assessments are very important. When I come into a new neighborhood, and mind you, I've lived in Queens all my life. So let's say I went to a community in Connecticut, and you may think to yourself, oh my God, how am I going to charter a club in 5 days in Connecticut when you've never lived in Connecticut?
Right.
And believe me, it is different. You go over there and it is different.
Yeah.
They have the little church in the center of town, then they have the cemeteries, and then they have the houses and the stores, and everybody says good morning, and some people hold doors for you.
It's just like in New York.
Yeah. But what I recommend, is we tackle all the areas where potential membership is. Schools, the civics, the chambers. What else? We tackle churches. Okay, we go everywhere. We talk to everybody. We will even door knock. It was funny because we actually went door knocking in Connecticut. And it was funny because there was a house here and another house over here, and we would have to drive to this house and drive to the next one. And it was funny how we did it. But we did it. We got 35 new members.
Wow.
And it was all neighbors from the local area. And one of the problems the mayor of that town told me was, Pablo, in this town we have nothing community oriented. Everybody goes to work in the morning, comes back, but has nothing that they can say I'm doing for Ellington. So the mayor told me, you have my full support. And especially when I told him about these humanitarian grants, the mayor was even more happy because, let's say something happens in Connecticut, a district governor has the authority to pick up the phone and say, we were just hit by a hurricane. I need humanitarian relief immediately. Within 24 hours, Lions International Foundation will wire down to start the assessment of what the need is, $10,000 to start the assessment.
Wow.
Depending on what the assessment is, then they will wire down more money as the relief effort is being, takes formation. So that's why when Sandy hit, money came down in lumps. At the end of the day, it totaled up to $500,000. Or more. Maybe I might have not gotten my last report, but that's the beauty of having a club in your area.
Wow.
You're part of something bigger. You're part of something better. Membership. What I will share with you, in the United States, it is a problem. Not only in New York, it's a problem throughout the whole country. And when we meet every year, all the major organizations that are international community service-minded organizations. So, for example, we meet every year with Rotary, Kiwanis, and Lions. We invite other organizations, but Rotary, Kiwanis, and Lions are the main ones that do different types of community service. And it is a problem that we have all noticed in the United States. There is less community interest in this country than there is in other countries around the world. So, but it is our job to get that message across and to invite more people. So that's what I'm doing. And after July 5th, I fly out to Milwaukee to form a Lions Club in Milwaukee. Milwaukee has a lot of clubs, but one of the things that we're doing now in the U.S. is, and you mentioned it, how do we tackle communities that are becoming more diverse?
Mm-hmm.
So, and there is an issue, because if you at one point were a community that is all Caucasian, and now your community is all Hispanic, the majority of those running everything are Caucasian. They might not speak the language, so they don't know how to engage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'll be going to Milwaukee to form a group of African Americans in the community have expressed interest to want to have a Lions Club, and so they reached out to me. They said, "Can you come to Milwaukee? We need help." The group is very interested. They want to form a club. We need you to help them, form. So I'll be going there to get them started. Wyandanch Whitley Heights, Long Island, Suffolk County
Mm-hmm.
has a very, very small African American population within their membership, and now they have their first primarily African American Lions Club, Wyandanch Whitley Heights. Queens and Brooklyn is doing perfect within the Asian community, within the Hispanic community, within the LGBT community. Tell me if I'm forgetting a club, a community. I don't have my notes. We're doing very good with the South Asian. We have a lot of clubs within the South Asian clubs. Yeah.
Just a question.
Huh?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the fee to join is $35.
Yes.
Okay. And then it's $7 to $10 a month.
Right.
Right.
Whatever the chapter decides.
When the chapter collects that money,
Mm-hmm.
do they keep it or they have to send it to
So,
you guys?
for example, we have international,
Mm-hmm.
we have the state organization, and we have the district organization.
Right.
Okay, each one runs itself.
Okay.
So the clubs in every district will send a portion of their dues to the district, will send a portion of their dues to the state, and a portion to international.
Mhm.
Whatever is left over is for your club. That's why I always recommend to clubs in the U.S. never go and try the $7, because you'll just collect the bare minimum.
Right.
I always encourage go for 10. And I highly recommend, because my club, we have 40 members and we do very well with $10 a month, 40 members. You're only actually, out of your 120, only $66 goes to pay the different
Right.
levels of Lions.
Yeah, because you collect over $5,200
Mm-hmm.
on 20 people for
Right.
the year.
Right.
What percentage of that $5,200 goes to you guys, and what percentage does the actual club keep?
So if you're a New York club
Yeah, I'm talking
and
about
Queens
you.
and Brooklyn area,
Right.
it's 66 for the year, gets split up in 3. So whatever the remaining balance of the 120 from the 66, that's what stays with you. So if you collect 120 a year, 66 will go to pay the district, the multiple district, which is the state. So the district would be Queens and Brooklyn.
Mhm.
The multiple district is New York State, and then international is headquarters. Because the Lions of New York have a state office in Syracuse, and they have to pay the administrator there that helps the clubs within the state with anything that they need. Then the 43 pay for the 300 employees that we have in Chicago that assist in various areas. So let's say you need to speak to a publicist for your club, you have a PR department. Let's say you need to speak to a lawyer, you have the legal department. Let's say you need to speak to the marketing department, you have a marketing department. Let's say you want to speak to the IT department to develop a website, you have IT to assist you.
Free. Everything's free.
Let's say you want more training, there's a training department, and they set up all these webinars for our members that are free for them. We have the convention department, that put together the international convention. So your dues, and I'm talking as if I'm recruiting you, and I'm not here recruiting you. I'm just telling you about Lions, but it goes in. It's a well invested, amount. So, and we do a lot of good with it. And at least in my mind, you're not using donation money to pay for administrative purposes.
Right, exactly.
So a monthly meeting, what would you be doing, or are you organizing fundraisers for the community?
So I'll give you an
or-
example from my club, so what we do is 1 month we do a fundraiser, 1 month we do a community service project. So at our meetings we have an agenda, just like you. We have old business, new business, and so for example, June was our luncheon, so which means in July we're doing something community oriented. In August we're doing a fundraiser. And since our fiscal year goes from July to June, means all our board of directors get renewed every year. So and we have a new district governor who's from Queens this time, so he comes out to your club, he swears in the president, and you have a nice dinner to raise money for that. And you do it like that. Every club is different. Some clubs will do fundraisers every month.
And so they're fundraising for what?
Whatever the cause that your club has. For example, clubs have scholarships that they give. Clubs have, they support guide dogs. You know the guide dogs?
Oh yeah.
For the blind people?
That's great.
Yeah.
Those guide dogs don't come cheap.
Oh no, I know.
You know how much it is to adopt one?
I'm sure.
$6,000
Wow.
to
And it
adopt.
costs a lot more than that to
Yeah.
train it. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So $6,000. Guess how many dogs Mathbeth Lions have adopted? And what I mean adopted is that they paid $6,000 to get it trained.
Oh.
And they actually get to name the dog. So when the
Yes,
dog gets
yeah.
placed with someone, I think one of their dogs is actually named Mathbeth, and someone has Mathbeth, and they have they have the paperwork that they were the ones that adopted the dog when it was a puppy, and they paid and they saw it grow and get trained. They have 6 dogs. Mathbeth is one of
great.
our strongest fundraising clubs in Queens.
It's a nice cause.
Yes, and there are other clubs, but Mathbeth is my favorite club because I always enjoy going to their meetings. But
And then service would be, for example.
whatever the needs in your community is. My club is mostly Hispanic, so what we focus on is issues within the Hispanic communities. So something we did last year was we provided breakfast, lunch, and toiletries to our jornalero community. Do you know what jornaleros are? Jornaleros are immigrant labor workers that stand in the street and they wait for people to pick them up.
Oh, day laborers.
And day laborers.
Day
And then they, some of them might become unfortunate and they get, they get taken to work, and then they tell them, "Oh, I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to call immigration,"
Yeah.
and they get abused that way.
Or
So our club, we provide breakfast, lunch, and toiletries. Everything that you need in a toiletry kit. We put it together.
Nice.
We meet at one of our members' office, and we all gather and we buy everything. And last year we were very fortunate. Lions International Foundation gave us a $2,000 grant to buy everything that we wanted.
nice.
So and with that grant, we even got to buy a promotional tent. So during the summer, if we want to go to a carnival or a fair, now we have a branded tent that has the club name and the club logo on it. And one of our members, who are business owners, said, "You know what? We'll take turns. One weekend you'll be in my storefront, and then next weekend we're going to recruit more members like that." So there is a lot of opportunities for people for people that want to get involved. So I encourage you, and let me tell you something. If a club comes to your community, they can very well help the causes that your civics support. I always encourage clubs to support their local civics, their local chambers. I actually encourage them to join. Okay, as an organization that encourages civics to join, you should open it up to members, Lion clubs to join, Rotary clubs to join,
Yeah.
Kiwanis clubs to join,
What's
because
the difference between the Rotary and the Kiwanis?
so Lions are known for eyesight, Kiwanis
Okay.
is known for educational, and Rotary is known for polio. So those are the 3 areas of focus that they each tackle.
Interesting.
Polio. Is there still a lot of polio in this
I would
world?
assume,
Yeah.
but that's
Stanley White
a
was.
short
What?
breakdown of each of the
Stanley
3
White
major
had polio.
organizations.
He suffered.
No, he had it as a child.
Right, but then what was it? Jonas Salk, right? Developed the.
But Lions now, with our since we're starting our 2nd century of service, we have taken on diabetes
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
and
You-
cancer, fighting against cancer, more educational causes, beautification,
Mm-hmm.
and
AIDS.
youth. Yes.
Youth, that's,
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I
Okay.
extend an invitation to all of you to become Lions, and I want to thank you all for having me tonight.
This was
Um,
wonderful.
well
This was really
spoken.
Thank
informative.
you very
Very
much,
nice.
Pablo, for being our guest speaker.
Very
I
Do you
think
have
we
a
really-
card?
I do. I'll give you a card and.